The best way to showcase how to make her want you like crazy after a first date is to have a look back at Dennis's situation. Remember Dennis? He was the successful guy who kind of blew it with Emma on the first date and didn't understand why, and then he watched a bunch of videos, figured it out, and had success with Julia. Let's look at what Dennis did differently with Julia, how a bold and kinda cringy move ensured success and a kiss at the end of the date, and how to follow up after a successful first date. Welcome to Just the Tip. Let's jump right in. Number 1, Dennis didn't talk about his money. Unlike his date with Emma, on this date with Julia, he didn't talk about how well off he was or what kind of a high-priced lifestyle he was living. Instead, he talked about his passion for his work and how that was what allowed him to become successful. Ooh, way to slip it in. So avoiding talking directly about money is a great thing to do on a first date, because otherwise it'll make her want to see you again for the wrong reason, or it'll turn her off for reasons I talked about in the other video. Like maybe she'll feel like she's being bought. Key point, high-value women do not want to feel like they're being bought. The thought does. Thoughts like being bought. Anyway, and the way Dennis revealed his success in the way he shared his passion about his work with Emma revealed other traits about him that were positive. He's humble, but passionate, smart, committed, successful, which translates into ... financial responsibility. Number 2, he didn't talk too much about his ex. He didn't completely ignore the topic, but when Julia asked him about her, he just said, things didn't work out. I don't blame her. We just didn't realize we weren't that compatible. Now, Julia would have loved this answer because it showed that he had no hard feelings, which meant he was over his ex, wasn't affected by the breakup, and was gracious about it. That shows good character. And this is when Julia reached out and touched his hand in a show of comfort. Julia, the little minx. So despite talking about his ex because Julia asked him and being gracious about it, Dennis showed more interest in Julia's life. And he also made it easier for her to touch him because, unlike his first date, number three, he wore more casual attire. On this date, Dennis didn't wear a 3-piece suit. His dress code was simply clean and more casual. He wore a nice black shirt with blue jeans, nice belt, nice watch, and clean matching shoes. Sounds pretty typical, but this outfit is actually a turn-on for a lot of women. If you want to know more about what to wear that all women love, you're going to want to watch my video on what to wear. I will link it at the end. Now, the best part about what Dennis wore was that he felt comfortable. And as I've said in other videos, women mirror your feelings about yourself. Women mirror your feelings. So he was comfortable, which made Julia feel comfortable with him. Dress code is one of the first impressions you'll make on a first date, and Dennis was a winner. Now, along those lines, number 4, Dennis chose a nice but more casual restaurant. And this made both him and Julia feel more comfortable and at ease, more like a couple who've been dating for a while. And she didn't feel like he was trying too hard. Plus, side note, also left him room to impress her more down the road. Always leave him wanting more. And he also made her feel more comfortable because, number 5, Dennis made the date an actual date and not a job interview, like he did on the first date with Emma. This is an important point. On his date with Julia, he started by asking her about her passions and what makes her get up in the morning. Questions you ask can make the date exciting or boring. Okay, here's one of the wonderful moves that Dennis made. He asked her to show him one of her favorite memes. This is awesome because 1, you get to know a little bit about her sense of humor, likely, or her thought process, likely, and bonus, you might be able to arrange your situation so that you're closer to her, making it easier for you to touch each other in appropriate ways. It also made her laugh. Of course, laughter releases happy endorphins, which Julia associates with being with Dennis. And because she was really into the meme question, he followed up with one of the most underrated phrases you can say, "Tell me more about that." Tell me more. This is a much better conversation than how many siblings do you have? Where did you grow up? I'm not saying to not ask those questions, but you want to pepper it in with stuff that's a little bit more light and fun and playful and taps in to either her emotions, passions, or personal interests. Key point. First dates should be fun, colorful, and curious, not cold and informative. And this conversation automatically allowed Dennis to slip in to the next tip. Just the tip. Number 6, Dennis made the first move. Let's look at what he did. So he opened with a hug. Now, as I mentioned in the other video, a lot of guys don't feel comfortable opening with a hug because of consent and COVID and potentially making her feel uncomfortable. But he took a risk and she let him give her a brief hug at the beginning. So that was breaking the touch barrier. Awesome. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that or asking for a hug, which I shared how to do in the other video, then you can skip that part and make your move later in the date. Now, she had already touched his hand, so that sent a message that appropriate touch was okay. So in the date, he noticed she was wearing a ring. So as I've mentioned in my other video on touching, appropriate touching, he grabbed her hand to ask her, "Is this a special ring? Tell me more." Dennis definitely paid attention to the info in my flirting videos. So find reasons to touch her hand. Maybe she's wearing an interesting bracelet. Maybe you need to read her palm and tell her future. Doesn't matter if it's cheesy. If she's got sparkle, she's attracted to you and she's hoping you'll touch her appropriately. It's also a great way to test to see if she does want more touch or if she's ready to be touched. If she pulls her hand away, then she's not ready or she's not interested. If she doesn't pull her hand away, bow chicka wow wow. Cheesy coach. So if she lets her hand linger, that's a sign you can likely advance seduction appropriately, which he did in a very bold, cringy way. I'm going to share it in just a minute, but just before we get to that, another great way to break the touch barrier or to find out if she's ready to advance the touch barrier is to show her a video on your phone. This way she naturally has to get close to you to watch that video. Now, if she kind of leans closer to you or leans on you, well, that's a really good sign. If she tries to keep her distance, then she's not quite ready or she's not interested. But being in such close proximity, even if she's on the fence, is going to increase sexual tension. And you know, you have to have that tension in there to stay out of the friend zone. Okay, here's the cringy but bold and successful move he made. When Dennis was pretty sure she was reciprocating on touch and was still all sparkly-eyed and had some attraction to him, he started talking about this massage he had, a sports massage, not the happy ending massage. And he said, did she want to feel a magic massage? Okay, so yes, maximum cringe. And she knew where he was going with this. And she thought it was cringe too, but because she liked him and she's attracted to him, let it slide because she wanted to go where it was going. She knew his plan, but she agreed. I remember in this case, she touched his hand and she let him touch her hand and she leaned into him. There was enough signs there that it was safe to present that option. Of course, there's other signs that she might be interested that he might have missed or that you can look for. So you might want to watch my video on 25 signs she's attracted or interested. I'll link that at the end. I know you're asking, well, what happened? What happened? Okay, I'm getting to it. But you just want to remember that advancing the stages of seduction are meant to be subtle and progressive. Do it right and it will lead to the first kiss and beyond. So yes, he somehow massaged her upper back or neck somehow, and it was cheesy. She giggled. That was a good sign. It automatically allowed him to move on to the next stage. Number 7, he went for the kiss. Now, it's pretty safe that if she wasn't going to let him kiss her on the first date, she wasn't going to be completely offended or taken aback by him going in for the kiss. But as it turns out, she welcomed it, and she even told him that she had such a great time she'd like to see him again. What? I know. So there, with mast partially raised, our Captain Dennis successfully sailed his ship to many more dates with Julia. And now that you know how to make your first date successful, you'll want to know when and what to text her after that date. Now, I have a different opinion than some other dating coaches on how soon and what to say after a first date. I think you might be surprised by it. So if you're curious about that, watch this video next. Thanks for watching. God bless.